Hey, it's Lazlo. Thanks for checking out the podcast. A lot of times we'll get emails or some sort of message on social media. It'll say, hey, guys, how do we help? What can we do? How can we help with the ratings? How can we do these things? There's a lot of things we can and can't talk about. A lot of things we're supposed to know and we aren't supposed to tell you about, and you're not supposed to tell us about. That said, there is something I can tell you about that will help us. And look, I want you to listen to us however you want to listen to us. That's why we put the podcast on. I don't know how many different services we put it out on. But if you could listen to us on the radio.com app, that would certainly help us out. That's fair, right? And the app doesn't suck. It's actually a good app. So check it out if you can. And I think, will we tweet out a link or something if you need to figure it out? Thanks.
The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish and the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness. For he is truly his brother's keeper and finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee. Ladies and gentlemen, the Church of Lazlo has begun.
Yo! How are you, man?
I'm all right. How are you?
You look good.
Thanks, you too.
Who's that in there? Where's the black guy?
I don't know.
Hey, you're not the black guy, are you?
Nope.
All right. You know who that is?
White guy.
Boring white guys.
Oh, how was your weekend?
It was fine.
Did you do anything fun?
No, I caught up, on watching stuff that I hadn't watched that I needed to. Like I went and saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood or whatever. I haven't seen that.
Oh, okay. What'd you think?
Well, I saw that, and then I binge-watched Mindhunter, right?
Okay.
I don't know, by the end of it, I thought, I should probably stop watching this stuff. About 9 episodes into Mindhunter after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm like, I could probably kill a man. My brain starts thinking all weird. I'm like, I don't think that Charles Manson, I think it makes a couple solid points, I think, in this whole prison scene. Seems to be like he didn't do anything wrong as far as I can tell. I was like, you know what? Turn this off and go to bed, man. You need to watch sports, get your head straight. You're a weirdo. I don't see how people listen to the murder podcast over and over and over again. Maybe I'm just not, maybe my brain's just not as strong as yours. I'm a fragile man.
Well, we're not waiting to be talked into whether or not we can commit a murder.
I'm not waiting to be talked into it. The whole time I thought this is ridiculous. Then in Mindhunter, when Charles Manson's like, I didn't do anything, man. I'm like, I don't think that he did, actually.
Well, he didn't kill anybody.
Right.
For sure.
And then the way he explained it, you killed him. All I did was give him the tool. And I was like, he's this guy really, I know he's got some sort of Nazi cross thing on his forehead, but he's really starting to make a valid point. And
Nazi cross. Whatever those things are.
Like, whatever. I have to go to bed. Is there college football on, for God's sakes? I can't watch anymore.
I guess I do watch those things sometimes and think, would I have gotten away with this? But I don't think I'm looking for the green light. Like, I'm not
saying I was looking for the green light. I'm saying if you watch enough of it and you listen and you engulf yourself in it at some point. By the way, that's what Mindhunter is. I'm not the only one who walked out of that room thinking he makes a good point. Mm-hmm. The guy in Mindhunter walked out saying, man, he really didn't do anything. Mm-hmm. So I'm not the only one. And then when he starts talking, I'm like, boy, he does. So you just have to stop and be like, okay, this is ridiculous, of course. This is horrible, but if you watch, 20 some odd hours of it, it becomes, interesting to your brain, I think. It becomes interesting in the sense of what is right and what is wrong. Because they do a really good job of picking that out, right? That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're ordering pizza with serial killers and making them seem human, right.
I probably watched 20-some hours of Evil Sleeps Here over the weekend. I figured, I thought about you, and I thought about the fact that, I bet Lazlo's mom is watching this somewhere halfway across the country right now. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have her new number to text her or ask, but there was something somewhat comforting thinking about the fact that your mom is somewhere underneath the same moon watching the same show on Investigation Discovery.
Oh, yes, right? I'm sure she was.
She doesn't have to... Her house isn't in the path of the storm at all, is it?
No, I mean, she'll get
the other
wind,
side.
and it's on the other side, though. She'll get wind and rain. Yeah, like this. I listen to Crime Junkies all day long, and then I say, this is from the text line, and they say, hey, Renee, you might want to watch Brooklyn 999 or 99 or something and laugh. And I'm like, yeah, that's the same way I was. You know what? Back away from this. You're starting to really think about it too much.
You do hit a saturation point, too, where you go, okay, I need to watch something else. And I don't know. It's not because I think Marilyn Manson wasn't such a bad guy, or...
Marilyn Manson wasn't a bad guy. See, you're starting to confuse things already. You watch so much of it, you don't even know.
Manson. No, you're right. But I get bored with it eventually. I need a quick break. But then it comes back. I just feel like I need to wash my brain occasionally.
There you go. I agree with the Manson scene. Listen to True Crime all the time. It's just a thought experiment. Lazlo's take is dead on.
What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was really good. But you know what? I'm not a true crime guy. So that was the other part of it, too. Once I watched the movie, I'm like, oh, what of these people are real? Which one of these people aren't real? Mm-hmm. I should probably read about this Western set. You know, I didn't know.
Spawn Ranch?
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't know any of these things. So, you know, then you start to get down that rabbit hole. And are there really ranches where they just do that? Oh, there are. There's more than one. Mm-hmm. And did you know that there's hospitals in Beverly Hills that are just paid for just by actors? And only actors can go there?
I didn't know that.
Me neither. Only actors and movie type of people. I guess, you know, anything from a best boy and a gaffer. But you have to work for 20 years continuously in the business. Huh. And then you can go and be put on a waiting list. And they're like individual cottages. And it's like the Jodie Foster Aquatic Center. And
I didn't know anything
Kirk
about that.
Douglas, Alzheimer's thing. Right. It's crazy.
I had no idea.
Right. So I'm reading all this like, what? This is okay. You know. And you got to the Charlie Manson scene in Mindhunter, right?
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I was not paying a whole lot of attention to that. My girlfriend wanted to watch that. I was kind of along for the ride. I got bored with that show for some reason.
As I watched it, I said to myself, like, yeah, he's makes some good points.
Did you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Charles
weird,
Manson?
right? And then you stop, right? And you have to stop yourself. Like, no, he doesn't make any good points, but he does make some good points.
Well, they talked to Tex Watson directly after, and Tex is like, I mean, I did it. It wasn't him. I did
Charlie
it.
didn't do anything. I did it. I killed all these people. I did it because I wanted to.
Right.
And I was like, oh, and Charlie basically was like, I didn't do it. Tex did it. Mm-hmm. I'm the only guy in here who didn't kill anybody. Mm-hmm. And you're like, yeah. The guy seems logical.
Yeah, he's got a point.
And it's weird, right? Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm saying. Once you watch it and you're like, oh my God, I'm suddenly on the side of Charles Manson. You know what? Is there football on? Mm-hmm. Is there football on? It's too much. It's too much.
I didn't realize that Dark Crystal thing on Netflix started this weekend. I didn't even know. I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to start binging tonight. Do you guys want to...
What the hell's that?
They made a Dark Crystal prequel for Netflix, like a prequel series. Gives you the backstory before the movie.
I finished Mindhunter last night, so I need something to watch.
I don't think I saw Dark Crystal. I don't know what
the
that
original
is.
movie? Came out like 81, 82?
Bowie?
Huh?
Isn't David Bowie in it?
No, he's in Labyrinth.
Yeah, Labyrinth. I don't know what Dark Crystal
Dark
is.
Crystal is Jim Henson, though.
Okay.
Yeah, this is supposed to be the prequel. And for some reason, I didn't know about it. Why doesn't Netflix, when you open it up, just show you everything new? It shows you what you think. I feel like it maybe should. Like, if you open up your Netflix at home, and I open up my Netflix at home, let's just pretend like, you know, there's a bunch of unwatched. We have a lot of the same unwatched shows and movies.
David Bowie's in the Dark Crystal.
Does it show us the same things or not? I feel like it shows everyone random things, that whatever that title
Except
card is.
whatever they're pushing.
Right. So, like the Dave Chappelle thing.
Yeah.
We came to work the day after it premiered, and I didn't know that it was out. Mm-hmm. Somehow, Netflix hadn't pushed it to me that night. When I went on there real quickly and browsed, I didn't see it. Now, when I got home the next night, it was the main thing.
Right. Hey.
It bothers me.
You finished Mindhunter last night?
Yeah.
All right, so here's another part. Like where the Charles Manson, you're like, this guy seems all right to me. Another part.
All right's a strong
word,
but
you're like,
I get it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, the other, the detective's kid.
Oh, right. Brian, yeah.
All of a sudden, you start feeling bad for him a little bit, but you're like, no. And they're like, oh, he put him on a cross because he thought, I'm like, And At first, I'm like, not good enough, needs to go away. By the end of it, I'm like, oh, maybe he's just a nice little boy. They did a really good job of flipping that switch in your head.
There's still a lot to unpack with that.
Right. And so, all I was saying is that by the 8th episode, you're like, oh, I think this kid's a really good kid. Yeah. Where just on the surface, I know he's not.
Right.
He's not.
Right. And there's a lot to unpack because they didn't get too much into that, honestly, other than it's mostly about Bill trying to keep everything together. You know what I mean?
Right. But I don't really need to unpack too much. There's a dead baby, and then someone puts him on a cross, and then doesn't tell anyone.
I think he had one line the whole both seasons. I think he had one line.
Anyway. Just saying it's not healthy. Everybody should watch cartoons or something.
Yeah, take a break.
What'd you think of the new episode of Twisted Sisters last night?
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you son of a bitch. I miss your mom being here. She kept you on the straight and narrow.
I think there was something good about, I love Dexter, right? Mm-hmm. What a great show. Mm-hmm. There was something good about only being able to watch that once a week.
Yeah, no, you're right.
As opposed to just 9 hours of straight serial killers.
Yeah.
You're like, okay.
But now when I watch things that don't... So like Showtime's got a couple shows that I'm watching right now, HBO. I find it really hard now to remember what the hell happened just a week ago because I'm so used to just turning every series into a 9 or 10 hour movie that when it's been a week, let alone 2 weeks, I go, oh God, I don't remember what happened. And then I feel overwhelmed. And I feel like an idiot. I'm like, I'm an idiot. I don't remember.
I guess that can be okay for some things. I'm just saying when it's, nothing but people
then you kind of need that break.
Putting on masks and pantyhose and cutting off people's heads and blowing them with flamethrowers and living in cults. You might not want to do that all Sunday afternoon.
Yeah. You need a break. Take a walk. Walk the dog. Drink some Kratom. Drink some coffee. I don't know.
Do something.
Do something. Go outside. Did you do anything yesterday?
No, not really. Did you?
No. There's something about the Monday holidays when you have the 3-day weekends. I really like the idea of... I feel like it's okay on those days, even if it's nice outside, to stay inside. Especially if you did stuff that weekend. Stay on the couch and do nothing. But yesterday was the first time I felt kind of guilty about it. It's nice out. Summer's ending or it's over. I should be outside. Maybe you should cook on the grill or something. Something. I should just go outside. Take the dogs to the park instead of just around the blocks.
But you didn't do anything.
I didn't do any of that. I just stayed on the couch.
Twisted Sisters.
Well, yeah, I did. I had that to look forward to. I shouldn't have dedicated my whole day to that, though. It's not on until 9 o'clock at night. It wasn't that great. It was pretty good, though.
You love that show.
Pretty good. Season 1, yeah. Yeah. Well, we're back now. It's Tuesday already.
Sure.
The usual, right? We're going to do headlines in a little bit.
Charles Manson makes some good points, right? Yeah.
We're going to have a guest today. Like, actual guest in the studio.
Yeah?
Yep. Just a filmmaker, director.
Oh,
filmmaker.
Yeah, I saw that earlier.
No big deal. No biggie.
It'll be fun.
You already know?
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I saw that you saw. Because I told you last week, but I felt like you would forget, and then I thought it could be like a surprise today. But that's okay.
Great.
What's that?
I don't know. It was here earlier. It's not mine.
How much earlier? We need Hartzell to test this stuff out.
I don't know.
That was one of his things that he does when he comes in. He finds these old bags of food and he starts eating it, and then if he doesn't get sick, we start eating it.
Looks like French fries.
It's from Hopcat, it looks like.
Oh, it's their crack fries. Those are good.
I'm a little dizzy the last couple of days. Lightheaded.
French fries.
Might be
busy?
dying. Yeah, I might be dying. I was at my mom's house on Sunday and almost passed out. I stood up and almost fell, and then ever since
again.
No, I'm telling you, even when I'm sitting down though, just dizzy all the time. I think maybe my house still has a gas leak. I looked it up. I don't want to look it up anymore. I'm drinking tons of water. I'm eating. Yeah. I'm worried that there could still be like a gas leak in my house or something. No, because even when I'm sitting down, well, it could be. Yeah. It could be like my equilibrium is off.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
But it's even when I'm sitting down, but I'm not throwing up. I'm just really... Lazlo, you took SSRIs for a while. When you got off of them...
Yeah, nothing happened to me.
You didn't get that. Yeah, a lot of people say that's only some of the older ones. Huh?
Have you actually stumbled?
At my mom's house, I almost fell over. My brother was like, what the hell? And then I forgot, like I blacked out what we talked about 30 seconds earlier. They're like, so anyway, what were you going to say? I was like, what?
Ooh.
What were we talking about? Yeah, I'm freaking out. Especially today, because even in the shower, I was like really wobbly and couldn't, you'd think that showers fix everything. When you're in the shower, you should feel that's the best you're going to feel all day.
That's your safe space.
Yeah. So it's bad.
Except you guys use Old Spice body wash.
Yeah.
I use Suave.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. I like it too,
Oh, okay.
but it's slippery. If you get it on the floor, it's really slippery. So I switched to the Adidas, which is not as slippery.
Not
Okay.
as slippery.
I don't know if I noticed that.
Yeah.
Less slippery.
Maybe it's because it comes out so goopy, maybe? I don't know, but it gets on the floor. I'm
I
like,
guess
God
it is
damn,
slippery now that I think about it.
It is slippery, right?
Yeah.
I'm not wrong about this.
Yeah.
So I had to
soap
switch
is
brands.
slippery. I get it, though. You made fun of me. I have to shave my head in the shower, and I had that time where I couldn't hold on to the razor, and I thought maybe there was something wrong with me, and then I realized I just had a bunch of soap all over my hands. But
Well, that's what I was saying. Maybe you're
commercial.
using Old Spice and
Yeah.
you got your shower slippery. It wouldn't be that big of a
Maybe.
deal. I think
Maybe.
people notice these things.
You don't have those little traction things in your tub, do you?
No.
No, you can't have those.
No.
They're unsightly.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I don't have one. I don't know. You probably have one if you have a kid.
If you have kids, I think it's fine. Little kids, I'm sure you have to have them,
Yeah.
right?
Do you have one?
The shower mat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
like
have
the
one.
little slip-proof things, the little grid, the little sandpaper things you stick on the bottom. They're shaped like
No, baby mom
Ducks
uses
or
those. I have
flowers.
like an actual mat that I
Yeah,
lay
you
down
bought a
across.
mat?
Okay,
I've
that's
seen
fine.
it.
Because
Maybe
my
that's
tub
what
is
I need.
very slippery. Then I have the little whale that goes over the faucet. So
Oh, yeah. I
there's
had an octopus.
yeah.
Yeah.
What's this?
Does the mat make it better? Well, that's
So he
why you
doesn't
don't know
fall
how.
and hit his head on it.
That's
Oh.
why you don't know that the Old Spice is more slippery because you got a traction mat in there.
That's part. Yeah, I mean that's what I
Come
assumed
on.
it was.
I'm gonna
what
buy
happened?
a traction mat.
Did you fall down?
It's worth it.
In the shower? Like, did you start to fall?
No, this is like a common. I know this.
Right, I'm saying, but did you have did you slip in the shower? Like, God damn, this stuff is too
Like
slippery.
years ago, though.
Oh, okay.
And it's just one of those things. So I've gone back and bought it again because I like the smell of it or whatever. But I'm always
Yeah.
like, maybe it's just because it comes in such a big thing and the hole is
right.
so big it just goes everywhere.
Yeah.
Makes your tub slippery.
I mean, yeah. It's soap. It's ceramic. Like I feel like we're
Right.
figuring this out. Yeah.
Well, maybe it's extra
But I
slippery.
think maybe
don't know.
I think maybe more of it comes out is what I'm saying. If
Yeah.
you buy like the Adidas body wash, it's got a smaller thing. You put it in your hands, it doesn't fall down, doesn't slip.
Got it.
You see what I'm saying? So if you do the
See, I just put it in the loofah.
I don't have a loofah. So if I put it in my hand, it falls out of my hand, makes the bottom of the tub slippery.
You gotta get the loofah.
But if I do
wash
the
rag.
if I do
Yeah, or wash
the
rag.
if I do the Adidas or whatever, it puts out less of a dime-sized thing.
Got it.
Then I put it on me, the whole soap's not falling right on the floor.
Go with the loofah, bro.
That is true. Someone says, Lazlo, either way, you got to grab one of those shower mats. You don't want to fall and someone find you dead butt naked. It's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
When
You know what?
live
I'm going to get
alone-
one of those
Yeah.
mats just in
Yeah.
case. Because I live alone.
Yeah, and if we can't get a hold of you and then someone has to go over to the house and then...
Yeah.
Water's just pouring on you for hours. Ugh.
Oh, my God. We see water coming out from trickling
Mixed
down
with
the
blood
steps.
from my back of my head.
Oh, God.
Man, you guys will
I'd walk out.
be all Mindhunter about it.
I was going to say, season 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mind Hunter. Lazlo Hunter.
I'm going to grab a shower mat. Where'd you get yours? Where do you buy
I gotta
those?
buy my baby because that's otherwise childproof in the house.
Bet you Bed Bath and Beyond probably has one, huh?
Target has them. Everyone has them.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to buy one. Just make sure I don't fall down. I live alone, man.
Yeah. You
I don't
gotta
fall down and die.
You got kids.
All right. I don't want them taking the bus home from school on the days that I'm with
No.
them and then finding me naked in the tub,
No,
dead.
no.
God. Ugh.
No. You can't have that.
No.
Maybe you should just call 911 every time you're about to get in the shower. Just let them know. Just in case. Look, I live alone. I have kids.
Heads up.
They could ride the bus home today. Just make sure. Can you do a welfare check in about 40 minutes? Make sure I'm okay.
I think it's a good idea.
All right. Anything else? Headlines coming up. And then we're going to have a guest in studio. And you're very excited about that, I'm sure.
Yes, I am.
Sorry I'm so dizzy, boss.
All right. You're sick.
And white guy. Okay, look, it's been 17 years of the hypochondria stuff. I am actually freaking out a little bit.
Why? Because
Today.
you're dizzy?
It's bad. So what do you think it is? Don't Google
Vertigo.
it. You think it's vertigo?
Yeah.
But I'm not throwing up.
I don't
My
think you have
mom
to
had
throw up.
that
I think
once,
you
and she
have to.
puked every time she. No,
No, I've heard people say they get up, they get dizzy, and then they lay back down.
I think you can in extreme cases, but
I'm
It'll
also
go away.
I slept like 13 hours, 3 nights in a row.
That's all the opiates.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just I usually am out of bed on the weekend, the latest like 11 o'clock or something. I just laid there until 2. I just felt so incredibly tired. Then when I get up, I'm really dizzy.
What time did you go to
I'm
sleep?
really freaking out. Like Saturday night, I was the first one to go to bed. I'd say I don't know, like 12:30 or something. It was pretty early for a weekend. And last night I was asleep. I'd slept a long time yesterday morning until like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I went to bed again at like 12:45 last night. And when I got up this morning, I was just exhausted. Like, it felt like someone had kicked me out of bed in the middle of the night.
How much drugs you been doing lately?
Like nothing.
That's a lie.
I don't have it. I don't have anything. But hold on, that's part of what I'm thinking. Like, maybe it's withdrawal. Maybe I need some drugs.
What haven't you done lately that you normally do?
I would normally just have something to pepper in there on a weekend, But I just didn't have anything this week. I didn't feel like
You need some Kratom?
getting anything.
I got you.
No, I feel like right now I'm not puking. I feel like Kratom might make me puke because I'm dizzy.
See, that's what you think. Then you go past that, and you don't puke.
I was thinking about, like, maybe this is my
Text line,
body's
one
way of
person
telling me
knocked
you
it
need
out.
drugs.
Target has a shower match for $5. He has vertigo.
Vertigo?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's vertigo.
Okay, that's good. I don't need you guys to Google anything. I'm going with vertigo. I don't know why I hadn't really focused on that. I've been straight brain tumor since yesterday, just because I've never had this when I'm sitting down. So I
You have a
thought, well,
carbon
it's gotta be-
monoxide tester?
I do, and I ran the tester again because
And?
I started thinking maybe that gas leak was still leaking, and then we did think that we smelled gas. My girlfriend and I, like, at the same time the other day, but it was in the cover on the...
Plus you had a gas leak.
Right.
You think
And
you still have a gas leak?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I thought that maybe I still did, but because we thought we smelled it. And I thought I smelled it, and she said something, and then I realized it was in the cover on the couch that we laid out for the dogs. And they said online that when you have a
How are
gas
your
leak
motor
that
skills?
bad, you have to wash all your clothes and everything because it will soak into fabrics that smell well.
How are your motor skills?
I don't know. Not great, but they never are,
Yeah.
My memory is kind of screwy. My short-term memory is real wonky. I forget
Yeah, but you've always been
about what
like
we were
that.
just doing.
You've
No.
always had
Like,
that.
I go to open an email and I look at this and I go, wait, what was I just doing? Really badly the last couple of days, which is why I thought tumor, even in the middle of a conversation. So I just cut off people yesterday and just watch TV. That way I wouldn't have to converse,
Do you find yourself rewinding it a lot?
No, I found myself focusing on the dizziness a lot, though. It's all I could really think about. I was making myself anxious. I got in the shower, stood in the shower for like an hour last night. Wouldn't go away.
That could
Didn't
be
get any
true.
better. No. I'm going with vertigo.
Probably vertigo.
Probably vertigo.
Or drug withdrawal.
Yeah, I guess. Should get some drugs. So
It's
can you give me
vertigo.
some drugs? Like something real, not like Kratom. Like, give me some real drugs, just a little bit of everything.
Yep.
A little buffet.
Did you go to your mom's house?
Yeah.
She has a gas leak.
Okay. All right, we good? Guys, oh my God. Lazlo.
What?
Oh, you did this.
Yeah.
What?
You thought it was the biggest one.
I thought it was the world's biggest coincidence. I forget that you can screw with stuff in there.
Yeah.
What?
Because I saw this song and I went, oh my God, it's a sign. And then I realized white guy in there
Yeah.
switched the song.
This is the Church of Lazlo on 95 The Buzz.
No, no.
Jill Sixx is here. You remember
Yes.
Jill?
Of course.
It's been a while.
Hello.
I've known you for a long time.
Yeah, back in the what do we call ourselves? We were the teachers' pets back in the
Oh,
day.
that's right.
That's right. I couldn't.
That was your Slim Fast
Yeah, the after school special.
after school
Yes.
special. That's right.
That was our old boss started that whole thing.
Yes.
Do you remember that? That was his.
I do.
feel
well,
like
I
now
wasn't
that
here,
would
but I
be-
heard
Oh, yeah.
nothing but good things.
I feel like now that would totally not go over as a thing.
I think you're probably right. Yeah, like if we just
The
said,
way
we're
the
gonna
times have changed.
bring a bunch of girls out, and I'm sure some people still do that, though, right? Like teachers' pets.
It's a tough
so it feels
putt.
a little,
It's a
yeah.
tough putt. In
is a tough
2019,
putt.
it's a tough putt.
But weren't you like the? Sorry, I know it's hard for me to see you on the other side of this computer. Weren't you the? Were you like the leader of that? Were you the head teacher's pet? Were
I
you
was
the
the
recruiter?
leader. I was the recruiter.
Because I didn't know any of those people until you introduced us to them. They were all your friends, right? I mean, I knew
Yes.
one of them. I knew you and one other person, and that was it. And the rest of them were all people you went out and recruited.
Yep, I'm a bad influence.
Those were the days. So, for people who don't know, I feel like everyone in Kansas City just about knows who Jill Sixx is. You're a local celebrity, and at this point, an international celebrity, because now you're a filmmaker. And when did your first movie come out? That's been
In 2014,
2014. Okay.
5 years.
5 years ago.
Yeah, I've made a lot of short horror films, and now I'm working on making my first full-length film.
So you are a huge fan of the genre. I can't say it because I can't say it properly. How do you say it, Lazlo?
He always says whore.
I don't know how
Horror?
to...
He goes,
Horror.
yeah, he can't say whore, so he
Horror.
always says whore. And for years, and even to this day, he'll be like, me and my dad, we got along every Friday night. We'd have whore night. And I'm like, man, you can't say you and your dad had whore night because it's a totally different thing.
I can't say it without
Horror.
slowing down and overemphasizing horror. You really like
You
horror
have to.
movies. Was that good?
Yes.
You're a huge fan of the genre.
A lot of people misinterpret me for saying horror movies when I say it. So
Okay. So I'm not
What
the
can
only
you do?
one. So you made a short in
Yes.
2014, scary movie, and now you're trying to make this full length,
Yes.
The Stylist, which people who don't know, you are yourself a
I'm a
hairstylist.
hairstylist. It's
Right.
about a hairstylist that kills people in the most simple explanation.
In the chair?
Sometimes.
I know
It's
you can't
always
give
a weird
everything away,
thing.
but yeah, when they pull out those blades,
Yeah, because you're always like, I don't really know this person. Like, you
Well,
really
if you
don't
keep
know
going
them.
back to the same hairstylist.
Yeah, but if you
will.
don't, and then they pull out that thing and they're like, do you want a neck shave? And you're like, yeah, I'm good. I
Maybe
don't really
not.
know you. I'm all right. Because there is a moment of you're in a chair with them. There's a moment of vulnerability,
Yes.
no matter who you are.
what were
Totally.
you traveling for? Because I follow you on social media, which feel free to give out your social
Yeah,
media.
at Jill Sixx, 2 X's. I was just in London at Fright Fest, a film festival out there.
Fright Fest.
My
okay.
new short film, One Last Meal, just played, which actually will play here this Saturday at Screenland Armor at 9 p.m. If you guys are interested. I've made a lot of short films, and we also made one called The Stylist. So you can kind of watch, or you can watch the short film and see the concept of like what it'll be when we make the full like hour and a half long version on our Kickstarter page.
That's the 15-minute. Because when I saw the fundraiser for The Stylist, at first I thought maybe you were trying to get money to promote your short film, The Stylist. Then you said it was a full-length film, and I thought but these movies are related. It's just that you want to make a full-length version of the short film.
Yeah.
And
it's
you
the
were-
same concept. It'll just be a full movie. That was my idea from the start, but we just started with a short and kind of use it as a proof of concept to show people.
Now, your goal is, hold on, I have your goal here somewhere, $46,500. And I was
Yes.
talking to you when you got here. I thought you'd done pretty good. You're already at almost $18,000 on the Kickstarter page. But you're saying, I always forget about this because I've never set up a Kickstarter.
Right.
We've had people set them up for us, I guess.
Right.
But I forget. If you don't get the total amount that if you don't reach your goal, basically, you don't get anything.
We get nothing. So it's, we ask everyone to pledge. You can pledge everything from $1 to $20,000 if you want. And in return, there are rewards that you get based on what you pledge. But we have to meet that goal by our final date or all the money disappears into the ether.
Right.
Right.
And then you got to start over.
Yes.
I mean, I can donate some money, but I feel like we need to find a way to really get this thing.
It seems like it's going
Moving.
well.
I
Maybe we
thought
can
it was
talk
going
about
well.
it. People go in and give it a couple bucks.
Yeah.
How long does it take to make a movie?
We the actual shoot will be about 3-4 weeks, but we're already working on it. We plan to shoot in February here in Kansas City, and so we're already starting with like location scouting and casting people. So like from beginning to end, it's like a couple year long process.
Really?
Yeah.
And are you the producer and the director?
I'm one of the producers and I'm the director, and I helped write it, but I've got like a team of producers that are helping me put it all together.
Okay.
What? Okay, I always thought that the producer was the person who put up
Everything
the money.
I know that she's talking about is only because I watched, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck on Green Light or whatever it was. It was Green Light, wasn't it?
Yes,
Yes.
Project
That's all I ever
Green
saw. You throw around those terms. I'm like, I saw Ben Affleck say that once.
Because I always thought that the director was the producer was the person who was paying
Giving
for it.
him the
Like
money,
the executive producer was the person paying for it. But then sort of think, really, they give the producer title, especially on television shows and stuff. I noticed that a lot of times the stars of the show or, co-creators, they'll put their name as executive producer once a season or something, on one episode or just a couple episodes a season. I'm like, is it like a title that they give you almost like an ambassadorship to another country? You know how they give
It is.
big donors ambassadorships
Right.
like Denmark or whatever? Is that what producer really means?
There's so many different kinds of producers. A lot of the time it's like an honorary title, or you're actually producing the film, which kind of means you're like overseeing everything. An actual producer finds the financing, and then you'll often credit the financer as a different type of producer, an executive producer or something.
Finds the financing.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So on this movie, if you hit your goal, then it will be produced by Kickstarter.
Yes. Well,
Yeah.
and there
Whoever
are
organized
options
it.
on our Kickstarter if you donate a lot of money that you could be a producer too.
Oh,
There you
see, now
go.
there's incentive. That's what I'm talking
That'll
about.
look good on a resume.
How much do you have to give to get your name on there?
Well, as a producer, we have three options at 4,000, 6,000, and 10,000. 10, you'll be executive producer, and you get to come to set and go to dinner with us and come to the premiere. But you can get a thank you credit for only $250.
Ooh,
And then you'll also be on IMDb, which people think that's pretty cool.
that is pretty cool.
Not
And
bad.
did you already say where are you filming? Where are you going to film this?
Here in Kansas City. It'll be all over because it's a lot of different locations, but we're going to film the salon stuff in the salon I work at.
Why don't more people film? I know it's the tax stuff with Georgia, and for some reason we can't compete. But why? I saw there was a. I guess it's probably still happening, but there was a moment there, and Lazlo, I'm sure you remember all those movies being filmed in Detroit, all those scary movies. It was such a great backdrop for scary movies. I kept thinking, couldn't we get at least one here? But I guess it's just something to do with taxes and unions and
They're
stuff. I don't
working on
understand.
it. They film a ton in Georgia because they have a huge tax incentive there. And Missouri's been working hard, though, at getting a across-the-board incentive. We have one in Kansas City, like 10%, but it's like you have to shoot only in Kansas City proper, Kansas City, Missouri, and spend a certain amount of money to even qualify for that.
Okay. But if you get the funding, then that will be filmed in Kansas City.
Yes.
Maybe that'll
And we hope
get people
to
motivated.
apply for that.
In Detroit, there was a lot of people making movies when they made that law. And then, one of the things that people forget is all the other businesses that it helps, be it people making music for movies, doing all the other things that go along with it. But, they made a lot of movies, and I think, put a lot of people to work with it, and it worked for years.
I was just talking to someone over the weekend. We were talking about you, Jill, and this Kickstarter and your short films. And we started talking about our favorite scary movies of the last, 10 years or so. What are yours? Other than, excluding the ones that you made and that your friends made, what do you think the best ones are the last 10, 15 years? Because we had, It Follows. I think everyone agreed that was a good one.
Right.
A lot of people really liked Cabin in the Woods. I have to admit that there is something about, and I know, Jill, just from following you on social media, I think you love this stuff, but I have a little bit of a problem with, I don't have a problem with them making it. I'm not saying they shouldn't make it. Just personally getting through movies that are strictly gross out. I don't know why that is. I don't mind heads being chopped off and stuff, but when they start, mutilating
The genitalia?
the junk and stuff, I feel like, I don't know if that's Eli Roth or who those people are that like to really try and surprise you with that stuff, where I go, yeah, I'm out. And I'm not that person who says, oh, this is disgusting and they shouldn't make this. I just personally realized I don't like that stuff, which is crazy because I didn't think I could be offended or that I had a limit.
I do like gross stuff, but I like it when it is a part of a film that still has something to say, and it's not like the only objective of the film is to be disgusting and there's really no story of any kind.
Right.
But as far as recent years, I like a lot of more maybe artsy fartsy ones like The Witch, which was...
You like The Witch. Snowcone, you hated The Witch.
I'm the only person that hated it.
I think I watched the whole thing. You hated it, though, Snowcone, because... didn't it end, ambiguously?
With the goat, right? Wasn't the goat the devil?
It was kind of like a Blair Witch thing, right? Wasn't they just kind of staring off and that's the ending?
I think so.
Was it the
well,
goat?
at the
I don't
end,
want to ruin anything.
Spoiler alert,
Right,
when she's
5 years
floating
old.
up, that's actually... In one, you could perceive that as her as being free now, but really she's been completely engrossed by the devil now. She's
But see, I'm a dumb
completely
person.
controlled by him.
Smart people like that movie. I'm just dumb. I didn't get it, but I know everyone loved it.
I get that, though. I didn't like, I have to admit, even when it first came out, I didn't like Blair Witch Project. Maybe because...
I love the Blair Witch Project.
Do you think, can you go back and watch it now?
Yeah.
And still get a kick out of it?
It's still scary as hell.
I really appreciate the fact that it totally kickstarted this whole new genre, the found footage genre, the way that they promoted everything. I think all that's brilliant. And even going to the theater and seeing those warning signs that said, warning, if you may get sick, watch this movie. I thought all that was great. Maybe it was just the hype. Once I got in and actually watched it, I was like, no, nothing happened.
I thought that was a good movie.
But I feel like I'm
was a
definitely
good
the
movie.
minority on that one.
I thought it was
You
smart.
are.
Yeah,
And
interesting.
Everything they did to put that together was amazing. And while it spawned the whole genre, no one can really do that again. People really thought that was real. Some people really thought that was real
Some
for
of
a
the
while.
actors, I just read, what is it, the 20-year anniversary probably, or 25
it
years?
is.
Yeah, and I don't remember where I was reading this. They did a full write-up, and they interviewed some of the people that were in that movie, talking about even the people that were in it. They didn't tell them everything that was going on. Basically said, take this, go out here, film. They had like markers in the woods, like, okay, start here, and then you can move this far, and then that's it. And then we'll come find you later. And then they'd leave them for a while. They were actually getting the people in the cast totally freaked out.
Right.
They
which
really
I thought was
kind of
interesting.
experienced that. I've met the filmmakers behind that since and learned they kind of set it up like a military situation. Like they only told them what was happening that day, and they were really filming it themselves. And
Right.
it's
Isn't
like
cool?
this magic thing that could never be done again. I feel
Yeah.
like.
I agree, because once they started doing it for superhero movies and stuff, I was like, all right, we've jumped the shark with the found footage
And
stuff.
I am no movie or music hipster, but that movie, I happened to be in Detroit, and I was walking around having a beer with a buddy of mine, and we walked past one of the, an independent movie theater. And we were like, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. You just want to watch this movie. I'd never heard anything about it. So we actually walked in, and it was the Blair Witch Project. And we watched it. I didn't know anything about it. We watched it. And after it was over, I remember looking at me and he goes, what the hell did we just see? And I was like, I'm absolutely not sure. And everybody got up and walked away. And I'm sure they had heard about it. But we waited till all the credits rolled to see that line that's in all of them. Like, people or events are not, you know what I mean? I was like, okay, it's a movie, because I'm not exactly sure what the hell happened. I was like, let's wait for that line. I need to see that line in the end to make sure that what I just saw wasn't, I had no idea what it was. It was fascinating.
It still somehow feels that way. If you watch it now, I think like every performance in there feels so real. I still don't know how they made it look so real.
Yeah.
Like it still feels like a documentary.
Well, I'm going to say last 10 years, I think It Follows is my favorite scary movie, big budget. I guess you call it big budget,
I'm not
nationwide
as
release.
big on that one.
So you didn't like that one?
I did not like it, but I don't love it. Like a lot of people put that in these top best
It actually
movies.
scared me, though. Like, there were moments where I'm like, oh, my God. For people who haven't seen it, a lot of people equated it to like a metaphor for having an STD or something, because you get this thing, it's trying to kill you, and you have to give it to somebody else before it gets to the point where it can actually kill you. And you give it to someone else by having sex. Unlike an STD, though, it just goes to the other person, and now you don't have it anymore. So
Wouldn't that be
Only
nice?
if
that
it
would be
works
nice.
that way.
That's the way
Wouldn't
herpes
that
works.
be nice?
But there were moments in that movie watching. I mean, I was alone, I guess, watching it at home at night. But I remember a couple different times where I like jumped and actually got startled because I wasn't expecting it, and that is rare. I feel, and I love that feeling. I like scary movies.
I think it's
wanna be
anything
scared
that makes you think twice about whatever you're going to do next in your regular life.
Yeah.
Like if it
If I
sticks
can
with
take
you?
that movie with me, so that's why that movie wouldn't necessarily scare me. It may have jump scares in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I
good
may be
jump
like,
scares.
okay, interesting, but that can't really happen.
No. It doesn't.
Right.
It's
but
not.
like that movie 1408 with John Cusack, right?
Yeah.
Oh, the Stephen
That's
King
one
one?
where I don't know that all that could happen again. But if I were to go to a hotel and they were like, you're in room 1408, sir, I'd be like,
No,
boy,
thanks.
can we downgrade or
Yes.
upgrade? Because it would change the way I'm thinking about room numbers. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to stay in room 1408.
But
no
me,
matter
I
where
would be
am.
like, awesome. This is the room.
Of course,
from
you
that
would love
movie.
it. You would
Hell
pay
yeah.
extra. Jill would pay extra. So, but the stylist is what we need to focus on now. That's what
Yes.
matters. A stylist, because you need to hit this
I'm
fundraising
fundraising
goal.
for it. I need all of your life savings to be donated to our Kickstarter
The
campaign.
goal is $46,500.
Yes.
You couldn't just round that up to 47 or down to 46. You got an exact number. Like someone had to actually crunch numbers. You've got a CFO going through and saying, this is exactly what we need to get this thing made.
Even though we can barely make it with that much money.
That I
mean,
would assume.
You know, they like that. I used to think like, why do they call $1 million, $1 to $5 million, like still low budget? And then I've seen like a budget broken down and how far that goes, and it really doesn't go very far.
Yeah, I think about
So,
like Kevin Smith said he made
This means
Clerks
I
for
won't
what,
pay
20
myself.
20 grand or
Right.
30 grand or something. I wonder, is that even possible now? Although that guy who made the Florida Project movie, I don't remember what the movie, one of his movies he made with an iPhone, right? I thought it looked pretty good. Was that Tangerine?
Tangerine, yeah.
And look, I have no idea what that cost when it was all said and done. Probably a lot more than $20,000. But the fact that he filmed it with a phone was impressive because I wouldn't have known. What
When you
prevents...
can make stuff for that small, it's just about like you basically can't pay anybody, and you'd need
Right. Everyone
a
has
good,
to be
like,
volunteering.
15 people a day to make a film, or maybe only a few if it's like one. It just depends.
Okay,
Right.
that makes sense. So if it was you making it with friends and everyone just wanted to do it in their free time, it's a lot different. Then you
Yeah.
can film it on your phone. But in order to get people paid and to pay someone, because maybe you're great at writing and directing.
We can only pay people a tiny bit, but we want to be able to offer people something because it's
even if it's
a
lunch.
few weeks, and we got to feed people.
Right.
Most important.
Tell us about the Stylist, though. Tell us about it. What can you tell us about it? If it happens, what will we see?
It's about it's kind of more of like a psychological thriller meets horror, like think Single White Female meets Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which is our two wildly different films. But it's about a woman who she's a hairstylist, and it's told from her perspective, and she's a very lonely, disturbed person who, if I can say this plainly on here, she scalps her victims and like puts them on when she goes home, much like Leatherface.
You should do one called The Producer, because Snowco's been following around Slim Fast acting like him for 6 years now. I always say he's going to wear him like a skin suit. I like the same music you do, buddy.
Yeah,
I like the same food you like, buddy. That kind of thing.
Yes.
I see it every day. It's spooky.
Aren't you a little worried now that if the film gets made, though, and someone comes in to get their hair cut and they know that they just saw that movie, they're like, what inspired this? Have you been sitting here for the last 15 years fantasizing about scalping people's heads who are sitting in the chair because they don't tip?
No, but that has already been happening because the short film came out a few years ago, and she drugs her client through a drink, and people make the joke all the time. They're like, I'm not taking any drinks from you. It hasn't scared anyone away yet. Maybe it'll bring more business in.
All right, Jill Sixx, the movie you're trying to make is the full-length version of The Stylist.
And you can watch the short right now.
Yeah, the short is up on the Kickstarter page, and we've shared the Kickstarter link on our Twitter. I know I shared it on my social. It's on your social. All your socials are at Jill Sixx, which is 6 with 2 X's, right?
Yes.
Is that what Nikki Sixx uses? 2 X's? Is that right?
No,
Did you just meet him recently? Or had you I assume you've met him before.
I met him a long time ago at a Motley Crue Aerosmith concert.
Okay. I thought I saw a picture of you with him somewhat recently, though.
I wish you
it wasn't. That was an old picture. Okay, maybe it was because that movie came out on Netflix. You were the reason.
Oh, the
I didn't know that movie was
which
even.
I did love.
I didn't even know it was happening, and then I saw you tweeting about it. And I was like, why does she care? Oh yeah, right. Because I associate Sixx now. I forget that. What the hell is his name?
There's another Sixx.
That there's another Sixx because I live in Kansas City. To me, it's Jill Sixx. Jill Sixx. All right, so people, please go to our socials and click on a link and pledge some money. And if you do pledge some money, you can get a shout out on the
hell yeah
credits. And if you pledge enough money, you can be a producer. Right?
Yes.
It's a pretty sweet deal.
All different things. You can even get a haircut from me for $666.
Not bad. Not bad. All right, Jill, thank you very much. We hope to talk to you when this movie's done and you're ready to promote it.
Hell yeah. Thank you.
All right. Thanks.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.
Flashing with paparazzi involved in an incident.
These infected monkeys.
This is Headlines on the Church of Lazlo.
Hit me with that news and information, Sugar Wiener.
Dorian.
Hurricane.
Category 5. I don't think I've ever heard of such a thing as a Category 5.
I think they all start at Category 5, don't they? Trump
Said something in an interview about Category 5. I don't think I've ever heard of a Category 5. And people were quick to point out, like, yeah, you have.
I know he said that it was going to hit Alabama,
He
too.
did say that, too. He said, watch out.
Alabama.
Parts of Alabama, blah, blah, blah. And then the National Weather Service had to correct him and say, Alabama, we repeat, you will not be hit by this hurricane. Right. It's too far east. And now he's still defending that, of course. Like, hey, we don't know. It could hit Alabama. We don't know.
Right.
So I asked you earlier, Lazlo, if your mom, because she's on the other side of the state, just how bad they're talking about this storm being. I didn't know if it was bad enough. I don't know anything about hurricanes. I've never been through one. I didn't know people on the Gulf Coast just... They don't. Nobody leaves on the Gulf Coast, right? Or do
they start to get a little worried,
Really?
because the state's not that
right? Like it looks like in the weather maps that it
right.
just
And it usually drizzles out once it gets through, but I've been on the Gulf side as a hurricane hits Miami, and it's not anything like you're like, oh, we're gonna die, but you're like, oh man, it is windy, and that's a lot of hail.
Yeah.
St. Augustine Beach has a mandatory evacuation order, but other residents will ignore it.
Do you have a plan B or anything?
I've never left before.
Okay.
See, and I'm not going to start.
Mandatory evacuation orders now apply to roughly 700,000 coastal Floridians, age 65 and up.
But they show this police officer going door to door, knocking on people's doors, and they say, hey, mandatory evacuation. Like, okay, cool. Well, see you later. And they don't go anywhere. And they don't have, there's no law in place in the state for the for the police officer to say, no, you have
It's
to
down
leave.
to a category 2 now or something, though, right?
Yeah, it's not as bad as they had worried that it could have been. I don't understand either when, I'm sure this has happened many times, but the hurricane stalls. It just sits for a minute like, oh, it's stalling.
Yeah.
It's just
The
spinning
problem
its
is
wheels
sometimes
over
it
the
just
ocean.
spins over, a city.
And gets, if it sticks.
Right.
Okay, that makes
Sometimes
sense.
they want it to travel through, but then it doesn't.
The Bahamas got it bad.
Yeah, and it sat on it for like 5 hours or something.
In the Bahamas?
Yeah.
I saw, last night I was trying to find any of the cell phone video and stuff that I could. There wasn't all that much, but today there's a lot of it. And, just from the aerial shots and from the shots that people have taken with their cell phones and stuff, it looks like the entire island just about got impacted by it. I wonder...
I was trying to think the other day how many I've been through.
How many hurricanes?
Yeah, have I actually sat through and watched,
I was in one in Mexico, but it was just really windy and rainy, and then it was over. They're like, you're good. Like, they didn't tell us to leave or anything. They said, it's not going to be that bad. They bring in all the lawn chairs.
I
You
think
said there's
3.
really windy.
I was in Hugo, Andrew, and Gertrude.
Andrew was a bad one, right?
Hugo was bad. Andrew was Miami. Hugo was Charleston.
When was Andrew? Was that a long time ago?
Yeah, both those were, quite a few years ago.
I'm trying to remember what the big one was when I was a kid, and I feel like it was Andrew. Was a really, really bad one. I've never lived in an area where there's hurricanes. I've been to Florida. You drive around there. I always thought, if you're in Orlando, I would think you don't have to worry too much about it. But
that's where you go to evacuate,
right? Then
a ton of hotels. It's Disney World, whatever. You're good.
So those Disney World's never been torn up by a hurricane, right?
The center of the state.
Yeah. So when they started the lead up to this, and they're talking about how bad it could be, they start talking about people in the middle of the state. I'm like, I guess I don't know nothing about hurricanes. I thought if you were in the middle of the state,
probably
you were
okay.
going to be
worry about it.
Okay. There was a boat fire over the weekend off the coast of California, off the coast of Santa Cruz, and there's a lot of weird information trickling out about this boat fire. It was a girl. Someone was celebrating a birthday. This girl, I think, was turning 17, and her family was with her. I don't know if everyone that was on this boat was part of this group, or if there were multiple people that were on this boat as part of the group. But I'm sure you guys saw that some people were rescued. There were a few people that made it, but that there were 34 people who may have been killed by this
Damn, it was that
fire.
many?
Yeah. And the people who worked, I guess were instructors or whatever, who worked on this crew, they were rescued by a nearby fishing boat. This old couple.
They jumped off.
Into the water, and this old couple,
over.
they own a boat, and they hear someone screaming for help, and they pull these guys up. They see one guy's got a broken leg, and he's laying in the bottom of this dinghy, and they pulled him up into the boat.
And then I heard, help.
Frantic knocks woke up Bob and Shirley Hansen in the middle of the night on their fishing boat. 5 people from a boat nearby sought help after escaping a fire.
As soon as I came out, I saw the man with the broken leg lying in the bottom of the dinghy in water.
My wife here, you got him some pillows and a blanket.
And some towels.
So there were 34 people who were unaccounted for. They had started to find bodies at the bottom of the water, and they had accounted for some of them, because I think they so far have recovered something like 20 bodies, but they are now saying that they presume all 34 people who were unaccounted for, they're presumed dead. But there is a 911 call that was made, or a Mayday call that was made from the boat that was on fire. And I guess from this article that I was reading earlier, they don't know, the press doesn't know yet, whether or not the person who is responding to this Mayday call, the recording they have, I guess, has the person responding, their voice, and not the person who's actually calling in. I don't know if the media hasn't heard that part yet, or if they're only getting transcripts from this and they haven't heard the thing yet. But
you only hear part of it.
Right.
Okay,
Are you just
go
getting transcripts of it?
No,
They're saying it's unclear as to whether or not the person on the boat who's asking for help actually said these things, and the person who's the Mayday responder is repeating them, or if the Mayday responder is just asking these questions. Because the person who's taking the call is saying, wait, they're locked into their cabins? Can you unlock the cabins? Can you get them out? So there was all this talk about, wait, were these people somehow locked into their cabins, and then did these people jump off the boat without going down and trying to get them unlocked? Or did the person who took the call, were they just saying, why couldn't they get out? Are they locked in? Can you? But some people thought they might be repeating what the person making the Mayday call was saying. So now they want to find out, how did all these people get locked into their cabins and consumed by flames, and only the people who were awake at the time survived? Because they made it sound like all the people who survived were awake. They must have been, I don't know, doing something.
Okay.
They're on watch. I don't know.
Sure.
And I have not spent a lot of time on small boats. I would assume that if you're on a boat like that, you can lock yourself in your bedroom. You have a room, right? You can lock the door. So maybe they were in their bedroom and locked the door, and that's what this.
And they couldn't unlock the door?
Right. Like, are they?
Well, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, did they pass out from smoke? What they're saying is, could the person go down there and rescue them? And maybe the person saying, I can't get in their room because it's locked.
I can't imagine all of them would be locked and all of them would be passed out.
Right.
That would be
really, really bizarre. And so
too big of a coincidence.
Exactly. So what
if you
happened?
Told me
why did 34
four
die?
people couldn't get out because they were passed out and the doors locked, but not all those people.
Right. So why did 34 people
I had heard
die?
a call. They said, can you go? I thought it was the captain. They said, can you go back? And the person said, no, you can't get back on the ship.
Right. And that was once they were out in the water.
Yeah.
So the thing that I just read before we went on the air was trying to clarify that they don't know for certain what was said by the actual captain.
I heard the Mayday call.
Yes. Yeah. And what was possibly being said by the person that they were implying. But it sounded like they're saying, look, the way that these calls work, this person is probably repeating what this person had just told them. And it sounds like this person just told them, well, the rooms are locked. What do you mean the rooms are locked? Can you get back in there and help them get out of the boat? Everyone's room is locked? Like Lazlo said. Because just guessing here, doesn't it sound like they're going to say, why did you guys abandon ship so early?
Yeah.
Sure.
And why didn't you help get anyone else off the boat?
There were a lot of explosions, right? Because it was like a 3-day scuba diving trip, so there's a lot of oxygen canisters and a lot of other fuel for the boat, obviously. There were explosions going off, right?
Right, and I didn't know any of that until this morning, because when we were talking about it yesterday, I thought that they had taken out a scuba boat and that maybe they had just, I didn't know that they were spending the night out there on the water.
Trip, yeah.
Right, and it was a multiple day trip, so they were going to be sleeping on it. And this happened at I think local time 3:45 in the morning or something like that. So you would presume that most of those people were asleep at the time that the fire started. There was also a shooting.
Jesus Christ, man.
Well, this is the big news. I mean, the shooting in Texas, it's different, because unlike most mass shootings where it's a couple of minutes and then it's over and you still have lots of casualties, this one took a long time, because this guy, the first thing that we heard was, all right, someone gets pulled over for failure to signal. And when he doesn't signal, the cops are just regular, let's pull him over, we'll check out what's going on. When they go to pull him over, no, he starts shooting people at random, it would seem, through his car window, speeds away. Then at some point, he steals a postal truck, kills the postal worker who had just finished her shift. She's on the phone with her twin sister at the time that she dies, kills her, grabs the postal truck, drives away, kills some more people. There were reports that, could it be multiple shooters? They said, no, it's just the one. It's because he used two vehicles. We think that's where it came from. But he drove over 10 miles in the course of this mass shooting. This is Texas. They just had a shooting there a month ago. Yeah. You've got politicians and mayors saying, you know what? Video games are to blame, and it's time to pray. Well, then the news starts to come out about this shooter. May not have been video games, because he didn't have electricity in his home, it would appear. His neighbors saying, I'd called the cops on this guy before. He'd pointed a rifle at me before. When it got cold outside, I could see him going out to his car and sitting in his car to stay in the heat, because I don't think he had any heat in his home. He had just been fired from his job. So then people said, he went postal. He got fired from his job, and he got angry, and this is why he went and shot people. Well, now the police are saying, no, we think he already had plans to do something like this. He was already unwell before he got fired. He got fired because his boss was like, something's not right with you. I'm firing you. Not to mention the police
had a nickel.
The police had already been looking into this guy. So now there's all kinds of conspiracy theories. Did the cops actually pull this guy over because he failed to signal? Or were the cops already looking for this guy? Did they come up with the story about failure to signal after he got away and shot a bunch of people, and they said, oops, we let him get away? Again, those are just conspiracy theories, but what are the odds that you pull someone over for failure to signal, and that's the person who happens to be armed to the teeth, ready to go?
Just snapped.
And people are saying, no, the cops already knew about this guy. They'd been alerted to him several times, and they were looking into this.
I want to be clear. He showed up to work in a very distressed mental state, so it's not because he got fired.
Before and during the shooting rampage, he called police and the FBI tip line.
He said that he was the guy doing it.
Ader's mobile mass shooting took him on a 10-mile journey from Midland County into Odessa, leaving a trail of 15 individual crime scenes.
Now, because of this guy's record, by the way, the suspect's 36-year-old white guy, because of his record, he was not allowed to buy guns going through a background check. But they do think that he purchased them legally, and of course everyone assumes that means some sort of loophole, like a private sale, gun show sale, something like that. Now, I mentioned that there were politicians and stuff who just got crucified on social media for saying, well, look, we need to pray about this. It is about thoughts and prayers. We do need to pray to end this. We need to return to religion.
Yeah,
and
it makes sense to me.
Then you had people saying it's violent video games, which I thought we were way over that, but then Trump brought it back in the last shooting.
Man,
so
I texted you when I saw the story. I read it. In the story, it said 17-month-old girl was a victim, was shot in the shoulder, right? She was going to survive. And then it went on to say they'd set up a GoFundMe to cover medical expenses. And then it went on to say the mother was praying to end gun violence. And that right there, that's the most American thing I've ever. A 17-month-old in a random shooting, set up a GoFundMe to cover medical expenses, pray to end it.
Yeah.
And then Tony Perkins, you guys know Tony Perkins?
I don't see why. We have a problem. We have a solution.
The solution is
GoFundMe.
Pray to end it.
Okay.
Oh, GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And then,
and then pray.
Right.
As a cherry on top.
Yes.
Yeah. To cover all
that
ground.
it doesn't happen to anybody else.
Right.
That's, problem, solution.
No, you're right. Yeah.
Well, Tony Perkins.
See what your problem is with all that.
Yeah, no, you're right.
The president of
boss.
the Family Research Council, or whatever it's called, Family Research Council. It's a Christian conservative group. He went on Fox News, and I feel like he's implying that it's not just video games or lack of prayer, it's that we're teaching science in school. That's the problem.
But it's also a discussion of the absence of a moral core in our culture today. I mean, look, we've taught our kids that they are they come about by chance through primordial slime, and then we're surprised that they treat their fellow Americans like dirt. It's time we talk about the result of the left's systematic march through our institutions, driving religious expression from the public square.
Because religion is the only reason any of us ever think to be mortal or moral. Yeah, primordial slime. You're saying that if we don't have a divine creator and we don't have a purpose, then we're all just floating along on this Joe Rogan space rock.
Well, I think out of curve violence, I think, get rid of science.
Why wouldn't we want to kill each other if we don't think Jesus created us? If you really believed that Jesus didn't create you, or that some divine being didn't create you,
compass.
Right? Why would you?
Yeah,
it'd just be mayhem. So it sounds like he's implying that maybe we should step back a little bit from the science in the classroom. Yeah, you can't teach kids that and then expect them to be moral. So something less serious. People really like this story. It started to make the rounds, I feel like sometime yesterday morning, about a kid who went blind from eating nothing but French fries and potato chips for a long time. He's a picky eater.
There's another story that's been in the headlines this week, and this is a 17-year-old who cannot be named. He suffered irreparable sight loss after living on a diet of chips and crisps. Since leaving primary school, the teen had only been eating French fries, Pringles and white bread, as well as the occasional slice of ham or a sausage.
So scientists from the University of Bristol examined this case of this young patient who had this, extremely picky diet, and they said that they had warned the family about the dangers of the poor diet, but this kid hadn't shown any signs of being totally malnourished. They saw that he had low B12 levels, and that he was slightly anemic, and so they treated him with injections, like B12 shots and some supplements. I guess he continued to eat this same diet, eventually went to the doctor saying, I'm really, really tired, I'm fatigued, and then starts having trouble with his vision or her vision. They haven't named this teenager yet. A year later, hearing loss.
Sounds like the same thing you told us that you
symptoms. I've got a brain tumor. I'm dizzy.
I know, but you're dizzy, kind of vision's messing with you. You eat Pringles and sausage?
Don't eat Pringles. I mean, I'm not opposed to them. I don't buy them. I haven't had any in a long time.
I like Pringles.
I take vitamins and stuff. I don't know. I think.
Okay, I'm just curious. Maybe that's it.
So anyway,
same symptoms.
He went blind at 17. His vision worsened, and they say
because he ate Pringles.
Deficiency in Pringles, sausages, French fries, and those are the three main staples. Like French fries. Well, a lot of the headlines just say teen who would eat nothing but French fries, and the next one says teen who ate nothing but. And I'm looking at the story yesterday. They weren't giving any details, and I thought, is this even a real story? And now this morning, everyone picked it up. They started talking about it on morning talk shows, and I don't know if they're just making stuff up to try and make it sound a little bit fuller, because they don't give the name. All we know is that it's according to the statement from the University of Bristol.
Will he get his vision back if he starts eating better?
They said that they warned him that he needed to start eating better. They warned the family, and seems like maybe he had stuck to the same picky diet, and it says the condition could possibly be reversed if treated early, but the blindness aspect, they don't say whether or not specifically the blindness can be fixed. One of the articles, I think it was in CNN or something, made it sound like they included the blindness thing in the reversible effects from this poor diet.
Oh, I haven't eaten some broccoli.
I had a friend who was a really picky eater growing up. He would only eat chicken fingers and frozen pizza. Well, he would eat pizza from a pizza place too, I guess. But at home, chicken fingers, frozen pizza, shells and cheese, and like Pepsi. That was all he ever wanted to eat. Wouldn't eat vegetables or anything.
How is he?
He got kidney stones a lot when we were kids. And I remember watching him say, like, oh, I got him. Oh, and he'd start wincing in pain. I was like, oh, another kidney stone? Man, you got to drink some water. Eat something other than frozen pizza. He'd pass the stone and he'd go right back to the
How's he now?
Pizza. And he eats hamburgers now sometimes. I heard.
Is he a healthy guy?
I asked him, I don't know. He's alive. He's not blind. He's not blind. He works a lot of hours. He seems to have enough energy to get his job done. He spent a little time in the hospital not too long ago. But I don't know. Maybe the hamburgers helped. He said that he'd had a salad since high school at some point. Like he'd voluntarily eaten a salad. But so he sounds like he's branched out a little bit.
Good for him.
But I should send him this story. If your kids are that picky,
Pringles and
you're supposed to
sausages
step
sounds
in.
good, though. Now mix those together.
What's your favorite kind of Pringles?
I like the regular kind.
Yeah, I think I like the original the best.
Yeah.
I don't... I'm like the one person. I'm not a big sour cream and onion. What is it? Sour
I like
cream
all
onion?
flavored. I like chips and sandwiches a lot, but I think Pringles, I like the regular ones.
Popeyes has this chicken sandwich that we avoided talking about last week. I really tried to avoid talking about it, and we did. We managed to, but now people are holding up Popeyes chicken. This place, Popeyes in Houston, got held up at gunpoint because they ran out of chicken sandwiches. What's the big deal about this sandwich?
That's good.
Have you tried it?
Yeah.
Well, the madness for Popeye's chicken sandwiches continues tonight, but tonight it's gotten kind of out of hand. Houston police tweeting that they're at a Popeyes on Scott Street on Houston's south side. They say a guy holds a gun on an employee because the restaurant ran out of chicken sandwiches.
So you guys both like Chick-fil-A a lot, right?
Love it.
It's better. This is better.
It is better?
Popeyes is?
Yeah.
You think it's better?
Really? I haven't tried it yet.
We'll go get one.
It's always out. They've got signs on the door saying don't even bother asking.
I don't know. I'll check.
Yeah, go.
I thought you couldn't get them anywhere. You should be able to now, though, right?
Yeah, I would think so. If you roll over there now, you'd probably get one.
I saw Chick-fil-A and Popeyes going back and forth. They had like a little Twitter battle and stuff. Yeah. What did Popeyes say? Popeyes said, hey, people need to eat on Sundays. And Chick-fil-A responded and said, hey, we don't run out of chicken sandwiches. Mm-hmm. I like Chick-fil-A just fine, but it's not. I know some people really love it. Like you guys,
you
really,
have a
really
problem
love
with the breading. That's what you said, right?
Yeah, it's every time I've had one, it's like the breading is separate from the chicken, like it slides around a little bit.
It's good.
Loose.
Popeyes is better. Go get yourself one.
But
go
I love
get
Popeyes
Get this guy one.
All right.
I love
He's gonna
Popeyes
love it.
chicken.
Right,
so I have a feeling I would like that sandwich better.
I mean, I'm not into chicken wars. It's not all that important, but the Popeye sandwich is good. Would I hold up a man in Houston for one? Maybe.
Mississippi wedding venue is in trouble because someone went there. So this guy had set up, or he had reserved this place for his, I guess, his what do you call it, reception, for his wedding reception. And the place later contacted him and said, we can't host your wedding. And they found out that it was because the owner of this place in Mississippi said, we don't host gay weddings or biracial weddings, interracial weddings. So the sister of the groom found out about this, and she went to this place in Mississippi, and she was armed with her cell phone. She was trying to videotape this woman. Now, she did videotape this woman, but the media doesn't know for certain if the woman she recorded just works for this place or if she owns the place. But you will hear this woman saying, we don't host these gay weddings or interracial weddings because it goes against our Christian race. I mean, our Christian beliefs.
First of all, we don't do gay weddings or mixed race.
Okay, so why not?
Because of our Christian race. I mean, our Christian belief.
Okay, we're Christians as well. So,
Yes,
what in the Bible tells you that.
Well, I don't want to argue my faith.
No, that's fine.
We just don't participate.
Okay.
We just choose to.
Okay. So that's your Christian belief, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
You can't do that.
No.
Right? I mean, you can't. Certainly the cake thing became an issue for a while where they're like, can you do that? Does the Civil Rights Act cover that? But I feel like denying business to someone because they're black is certainly covered.
Yes.
There. You can't do that. Also, though, how would you feel if you were part of a, discriminated against minority? Let's say that you wanted to get married, and I don't know, maybe because of your race or your sexuality, the place said, no, we don't want you. And you're like, well, you have to. Yeah, I understand people say, well, no, we have to do it because we can't just let these people get away with it by saying, well, if you don't want me, I'm not going to give you my business because you're sexist or racist or homophobic. So what do you do, though? Because I would be worried that this place is going to make sure that I have a bad wedding. If they get forced into doing this.
No, there is stuff people can't do, sure.
Or like the cake thing.
Agree if people don't want you there, maybe you shouldn't be there, but there should be a punishment for it.
Yeah, I agree, and especially if you get caught on tape saying it.
Of course.
I saw someone last night was trying to find anything in the Bible, because you hear that woman say, okay, well, we're Christian too, so what part of the Bible are you talking about? So I don't know if this is true. I'm not well-versed. But someone was trying to find anything about interracial dating and stuff in the Bible. They said that there's a part, and again, I don't know if this is true, but I'm sure there's Christians out there or people who know more about the Bible that could correct me here.
Sure.
There's a part of the Bible where Moses apparently is dating someone who in modern times I guess would be like Egyptian. They have a different name. Moses, somebody.
Moses is dating someone?
Abraham. Someone in the Bible, one of those old-timey bearded guys, is dating someone, and then someone gets mad that he's dating this, I think they said like Egyptian, or maybe it was Ethiopian, or anyway, modern day. It clearly would have been someone who was darker skinned than him, according to this thing I was reading. And that Jesus actually got mad at the people who were mad at Moses. So Jesus was mad at the people who were being racist. According to this thing that I read last night. I have no idea if that's true. They said that's the only part of it.
Moses' wife was of another race in Numbers, whatever. Aaron and Miriam? You know these people? They were punished for criticizing this interracial marriage.
Okay, so yes, they were the ones who got punished.
The book of Ruth tells a delightful story of a foreigner who became part of the lineage of Christ. The harlot, Rahab, also of another nation, is included in the lineage of Christ as recorded in Matthew, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
So
this is from BibleInfo.com. The Bible is clear that when both parties are believers, equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
What does yoked mean?
Who knows? Bible stuff.
I only know that from craps.
They're yoked? I'm guessing that they're being equally Christian, right?
Okay.
Like they've been brought up equally Christian or something?
Interracial marriage is not wrong. A Christian couple contemplating marriage must prayerfully and carefully consider the impact their marriage will have within their cultural context, their family relationship, future children, and the society in which they live. A loving Christian couple may accommodate well to many kinds of differences between themselves.
And not only is it allowed, but they got in trouble from God for being mad, right? Like they got mad at Moses for being in this interracial relationship, so God punished them for being racist. I mean,
the book of Ruth tells a delightful story of a foreigner who became part of. Yeah, I guess. Moses' wife was in another race, and in Numbers 12:1-15, Aaron and Miriam were punished for criticizing this interracial marriage. But I don't know who Aaron and Miriam are.
It doesn't matter, but the point is God got mad at them for being racist. So when that woman says in that video, okay, we're Christian too, what part of the Bible? She goes, I'm not here to discuss my faith with you.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't know why.
You don't know why.
You just know that it makes you racist.
And she says, because of our Christian race. I mean Christian faith. That's how she starts off. There was a local story on fox4kc.com about this woman who started getting text messages over the weekend from her number neighbor. Do you know what a number neighbor is?
I've seen it before. I'm guessing it's a person who has a phone number next to mine.
Yeah, like one number off from your phone number. So I was getting text messages from a strange number over the weekend. And, an unknown number. It was an 816 number. I eventually blocked the person. I never responded. The messages were only coming in like every, 2 or 3 hours. I'd get a message, and they weren't totally making sense. And I felt like it was a bot or something trying to get me to respond. But now I wish I hadn't deleted it because I wonder if it was my number neighbor. I just saw that it was 816.
Someone trying to reach your number neighbor.
Well, they were texting me, and they were sending me these weird texts as if we'd already been engaged in some sort of conversation, which we hadn't. But
you
it also
didn't notice the number was exactly like yours?
No, I just thought it was 816. Then I saw this story the next day about number neighbors and this woman in Kansas City, and I thought, I wonder if that person who was texting me the day before was a number neighbor. But this person who was texting this woman got really scary really quickly.
I'm still scared that he could come find me. I don't think it's funny.
The mom of two had quite the scare Saturday when she got a series of text messages from an unknown number.
My phone kept on going off and off and off. I thought maybe it was my husband sending me something. What's poppin'? Answer me right now. I will find you and I will kill you.
She finally ended the conversation when the person asked about her gender.
Are you male, female, or furry?
Are you male, female, or furry?
Oh.
That's when she ended the conversation.
I'm texting my number neighbor now.
No, don't do that.
Why?
I don't know, because I was just going to ask you. Well, I guess as long as you don't say anything like
I was
going
going
to
say hi. Number neighbor, exclamation point. How's that?
I'd never heard of the number neighbor thing before. Why'd this person get so...
There. I just did it. I'll let you know what happens. I don't know if you're supposed to go down or up or both. I have two neighbors. I went down.
Nah, they blocked her number out. All they said in the story that I remember was that it's one number shy, one number different from her number. The person texted me over the weekend. It seemed like it was almost like it was put through a translation filter or a translation app and wasn't totally translated properly. Little things, too, like... I remember one of the texts said, yeah, I wish I could help you with that. Something along those lines. As if I had been responding to these previous texts, or almost like I was getting copied on another conversation just from one person, like they'd put two phone numbers in there. I just thought maybe if I responded, I'd be a Russian person, they'd steal my password. I don't know. Are you allowed to prank someone and... You can't threaten people, right?
No, you can't threaten people.
If you get a text message from someone and they say, you better watch out, I'll kill you, or I'm watching you.
Oh, yeah.
You should be able to call the cops, right?
Yes.
And the cops should be able to figure out who that is.
Of course.
And they should get in trouble.
Of course.
Now, I don't know where that line is. I don't know exactly where you draw that line. But there's got to be some sort of line that, okay, this is pranking, this is harmless, whatever.
Of course.
Also, though, that could get to the point of being
harassment.
Harassment. How long can you do that before you're harassing someone? But if you say, I'm going to kill you, like you pranked people when you were a kid, there was a lot of prank phone calls. Do you remember saying anything?
Nah. Not like I'm going to kill you. No.
I did.
Oh, maybe.
I did the I can see you right now.
It's coming from in the house.
Yeah. What was that called? The babysitter or whatever?
In the house?
He's in the house. The call's coming from inside the house.
Yeah, I think we did that. The call's coming from inside the house.
We did the I can see you thing. We called these girls.
Oh, like Scream.
There were several of us there. We called these girls that we went to school with, and one of my friends, he was really good at these prank phone calls. He could keep them on the phone. Start off kind of lighthearted and just get them interested enough that they stay on the phone. But things would get to the point. And then you're also trying to keep up with the person who's doing this with you. So you got a group of 3 or 4 friends around. They're taking a little bit further. And I remember when I said, like, I can see you right now.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah.
I definitely shouldn't have said that. I'm going to get in trouble for that. And I was really worried when I got to school. I remember the girls asking around who did it. Actually, I probably shouldn't be admitting to it now. I don't know what the statute of limitations is on that. A kid who wants to get his pilot's license.
I'm sure you're fine.
I feel like I should be. He's taking flight lessons, as one does when they want to get their pilot's license. His very first lesson in the plane, the pilot passes out and will not wake back up. And this is in Australia.
That's bad.
That's really bad. So he has to. I don't even know that I would know.
When a Stranger Calls is the movie.
When a Stranger Calls. I don't know that I would even know how to operate that radio yet to call down. Maybe they teach you that before your first actual flight lesson. But he manages to call back down, and he managed not only to get a hold of ground control or whatever, he managed to land the plane. And he seemed to be incredibly calm for someone who's taking their very first lesson and just had the only pilot in the airplane pass out.
Do you know how to operate the aeroplane? Very, very light. This is my first lesson. Are they unconscious? He's leaning over my shoulder. I'm trying to keep him up, but he keeps falling down. The first thing we're going to do is make sure that the wings stay level and that you keep consistent speed and consistent altitude. So we're going to get you on the ground very soon. You're doing really, really well. You're doing an amazing job.
How is he that calm? That's what separates the movie heroes from regular people. And I always thought that what heroes do in movies in that moment where they say, you know what, I'm going to fight. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to survive. I think, you know what, that's where absolutely any shred of believability ends, because at that point you would have given up.
Really?
John McClane, you're not even wearing shoes. There's 700 dudes in here with machine guns. You're not even wearing shoes, and they shot out all the windows.
I think you could do that. I believe in you.
I would absolutely.
I've seen you under pressure.
I would have a heart attack. Just imagine you thought, you know what, it will be kind of fun, I guess. And I know it's not your thing, but try and imagine that you decided, I want to get my license. Helicopter pilot or plane, whatever. You take your very first lesson. The pilot passes out and you can't wake her up or wake him up. At that point, are you radioing down and saying, all right,
yes,
I need step by step?
Of course.
No, I'd have a heart attack. I think I would pass out.
Of course, it's the only thing you could do. You'd be like, okay, what do I got to do? I got to get on this radio. Of course.
Yeah, but I think that the chances of me successfully landing this thing are so... I would just be shaking that person the entire time until we hit the ground. Wake up! You have to wake up!
No,
and the little
you'd be
alarms
fine.
Off, and then it's saying 500.
You've seen the movie Airplane, right? I feel like they could talk me through it.
It ain't me. And then finally, I'm sure you watched, you said you watched some college football over the weekend.
Hey, hold on. This guy says I got a text from my number neighbor, and we had a delightful conversation. I was even hesitant and told him I don't trust anyone since they could be a serial killer, but he was just hoping for a hot girl to talk to. Instead, he got a 29-year-old man, so we laughed and just talked about life and then wished each other luck in life. That was that.
Who started the number neighbor thing? Has this always been a thing?
Been going on for a while, yeah.
Oh, okay. Mascot.
My number neighbors didn't respond, so the hell with them.
You may have to be a little more persistent. I didn't respond.
No, I'm not going to bother him.
Did you say number neighbor?
I said hi, number neighbor.
Okay.
Sure. And that was it. So now I deleted them.
And that's that. You may get a response still. They could be working.
Where's another phone on them when they're working?
A mascot got penalized over the weekend. People were freaking out about this, by the way, that college football is no fun. Why would they penalize this mascot? I hadn't seen the clip yet. Then I finally clicked through articles, watched the actual incident, and I got to tell you, I'm sure you saw it. I thought, why?
I didn't see it.
Oh, you didn't see it? So what was it? Jackson State, the Tiger mascot. So there's this amazing touchdown pass into the end zone. It was a great pass, a great catch. Then there's a pile right at the back of the end zone.
Okay.
Everyone's running into the pile, and before the ref can even get over there to completely blow the whistle, the mascot runs through the end zone. Not even, he or she doesn't even run around out of bounds, just through the end zone and starts trying to pull people off the pile. It would be funny, get everyone off my guy here.
Right.
Because I want to salute him. But the ref threw a flag and said it's unsportsmanlike.
Drop back to pass, has Warren Newman, and Newman with the score, the layout, and another touchdown for the Tigers.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Jackson State mascot for coming onto the field.
So I'm showing Lazlo now. There's the huge pass,
Yeah,
right? That was great. Let's see how he runs through the end zone?
Oh, yeah.
And that's dumb, right? If you saw that happening live, wouldn't you think, why is that guy in the end zone already? Why is the mascot in the end zone?
Seems like it's fun. It's fine.
Well, that's what a lot of people are saying.
Doesn't bother me at all.
College football
have
needs to have more fun.
Yeah, lighten up.
Lighten up a little bit.
Play's already done. It's a touchdown. I can tell. Who cares?
I just thought when
all the other players are jumping on board, let the mascot do it. Who cares? If you don't want mascots to do crazy stuff in the end zone, then don't have mascots.
In my mind, I envisioned him running up, from the sideline and coming in through the back, but he runs into the end zone. All right, fine, so then let him have fun. Because it seems like most people were saying that it shouldn't have been a penalty and that the refs need to let the players have fun. It's college football. So, okay. I thought maybe you would say, no, you can't do
What about you? Did you watch any college football this weekend?
No.
Well, I
saw that.
I said that you were gonna be a Mizzou fan.
Yeah, I checked. That didn't go so well.
No.
I told you that's why I'm not. I was checking updates at the very beginning. I was like, okay. Lazlo said these guys are going to be good this year. He wasn't wrong.
I thought they were. They had the Clemson quarterback.
And then
they lose Idaho or something.
Someone terrible.
Oh, Jesus
Someone
Christ.
with a logo that looks like your kids drew it about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 10.
They said that team hadn't beat anybody in 11 years or something.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, it was bad.
But it was bad. I saw the team, and it wasn't like Idaho State.
I think it was Idaho or something.
Let me see here.
I thought I looked at the score wrong.
Was it Wyoming?
Yeah, that could be it. Was it that?
Did Mizzou players overlook Wyoming? Or is that what's coming up
obviously.
next? Wyoming last Saturday. Yeah, so it was Wyoming. 37-31 loss to Wyoming.
Oof.
This is why I don't have a team. NFL starts soon enough. I'll be all right.
Pick Kansas. Les Miles look good out there this weekend.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Fair weather fan. Can't do that. How'd your guys do? Michigan State? I'm kidding. I know it's not Michigan State. I was kidding. You like the Wolverines.
You push me sometimes.
I know.
Push me.
I know. I'm just messing with you. How'd they do?
Push me. They won.
Michigan State did or Michigan?
Both of them won, as a matter of
There
fact.
you don't hate Michigan State.
Yes, I do.
Only if they're playing.
I don't like them.
Michigan.
I don't root for them.
You hate Ohio.
I hate Ohio State more.
Who do people at Michigan State hate?
Michigan.
Oh, that's their biggest rivalry?
Yeah.
And then your biggest rivalry is Ohio?
Ohio State, yeah.
Oh, that's never a good sign.
Yeah.
When your biggest rival doesn't think you're their biggest rival. You know?
Yeah. But I don't like Michigan State, but I hate Ohio State.
But you root for Michigan State like if they were in a bowl game or something, don't you root for them?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I thought you did.
Mm-mm. I don't play like you play.
I don't play. I don't watch it. I
mean, I'll root for all the Big Ten teams except for Michigan State and Ohio State. I hope they...
But Michigan State is in your home state.
Yeah, I know. It's just not my team.
Okay. But, like, if Missouri State...
You root for the Cardinals? The St. Louis Cardinals? Why? They're in your state.
Right, but
there's a chance they're going to go to the playoffs when they go to the playoffs.
They're called the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah.
They're not the Missouri Cardinals. So, like, if they were the Missouri Cardinals and they claimed to be representing the whole state...
Then you would?
And they were my second favorite team that represents the state of Missouri, then I would root for them in that scenario, I guess. I don't know. But, like, Missouri State.
Well, what about just Missouri, then?
Missouri, huh?
What about just Missouri? Why don't you root for them, then?
That's what I'm saying. So, but I don't, because I don't care about college sports. But if MU lost, and I had been rooting for Mizzou, and for some reason Missouri State were good at something, I guess I would root for them, right? If they were playing Michigan or something, wouldn't I root for them? Wouldn't that only make sense? I don't understand how it works. I didn't go to college. I mean, I did for a year, but they're...
After all we've been through, I thought...
sports.
You'd root for Michigan.
I'll root for Michigan.
Good.
I root for the Pistons, 20 years ago when that was happening. I was on board.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun.
We're just wasting time.
Okay.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
Okay. I didn't tell you this.
I can't wait.
Because
You're
I knew
smiling.
you'd make
It's going
fun
to
of
be
me.
good. Oh, please.
No, I knew you'd make fun of me. But I want you to take this seriously because there's a chance that this really happened, okay? We all know that people do get stuff slipped in their drinks. Well, hell, you've worked at bars. Snow Cone, you worked at a bar.
Roofied.
You were roofied?
Yeah.
No,
okay.
you weren't.
Yes, I was.
I knew that was going to be a reaction.
Yes, no,
I thought
I
it would be
was.
Snow Cone.
I really was.
think I was drugged this weekend. I wanted to tell you the story. You tell me what happened.
I really was, for sure.
So what happened?
He drank too much booze, and then he decided...
No, that's the thing. I didn't. Okay, so when I work at pizza bar, sometimes I don't want to get anyone in trouble or anything. But when I work down there, I'll go order a drink, and I have to run back and change the song. And so they'll leave the drink sitting there, and I'll come back and grab it. And one night I did it, and I probably had like 3 drinks that night. I never blacked out. And that night I blacked out, woke up in bed, had no idea how I got home. I stood up to use the restroom, fell into my wall, couldn't stand up straight. It was really, really bad.
Okay.
And everyone that saw me that night said I was belligerent. I had 2 drinks or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I wasn't drinking. Don't believe him?
Why would I make it up?
We do know people get roofied, right?
Because, this is why I say there is a reason why to make this up. Of course, men are predators and women get roofied. This is my thing with Snow Cone. There's one reason why you would make it up. If you drank too much Captain Coke and did get belligerent drunk, it would be easy for you to say, man, I must have got roofied, instead of facing the music of, I drank too much.
No, I get it. But everyone that knows me, has seen me get very drunk. I never get belligerent. And the thing with Captain and Coke is I drink it because I can never get too drunk. And I don't black out. And this was, I don't think someone intentionally did it because it was me. I think they saw a drink sitting there, a full drink.
Right, that's the thing. They don't know who they're... If this is really happening, which we have to assume that it happens quite a bit from what we read, it's not super rare, then these people are just taking their chances, right? I don't know what they're putting in these drinks, if it's actually benzos or sleeping pills or, what they're getting a hold of. But I went out this weekend, and I was not out very long. And the reason I didn't mention this earlier when I was talking about my dizziness is because I wanted to wait to see if you think there's any chance this happened. But I ordered a Red Bull, and I forgot about it. I set it over, in the back of the bar on a little side table thing, and I forgot about it. I went outside because I wanted to vape. I was going to say smoke, but I went outside to vape for a second, And then I thought, oh no, I had a drink earlier. Damn it. What did I do with it? And I remember that I left it inside. I remember thinking when I saw it there, if people really get drugged, this would be the kind of drink that gets drugged. It's sitting here totally full.
Yeah.
The can is sweating, and I just left it over here all by itself. Now, I was not out of the house for very long that night. So I picked it up, and I started drinking it, and about an hour later, I think it was about an hour later, I started having memory problems. Like I felt confused, and it felt like almost like if you're really, really stoned and your short-term memory goes away, you know, and you're trying to tell a story and you're like, wait, what was I just saying? Felt like that. And I kept doing it. And I was like, wait, what's going on? So I thought, like, I need to go. And I had driven down there. But I thought, like I said, I got to go home. Something's not quite right. And whatever it is, I feel like it could be getting worse. I might be getting sick or something, but I need to go. And I left my car down there and Ubered home, which I did not want to leave my car down there, but that's how out of it I felt. It's like, I'm just going to leave my car here.
Did you think at this point you might be drugged or you have a brain tumor?
No, at that point I thought maybe I was sick. Maybe I can't remember. I remember thinking that I felt kind of like I was stoned. I know that I had smoked pot way earlier in the day, like before I ever left for the bar, but I have this little pen that I vape on, and it's really mild. Like it barely, I don't like pot that gets me too in my head. I'm prone to panic attacks and stuff, so I have to find the right thing. I've had this same pot now for 6 months, and it just doesn't do that. Not to mention, I hadn't smoked it in a long time. So I don't remember everything that happened after that. I know that I got home, okay? I know that I had people staying at my house and that they weren't there yet. I know that I was alone. I know that they got there, and I remember they kept asking, are you okay? Like, are you all right? You seem like you're not having fun. I was like, no, I'm fine. I'm just tired. I didn't want to say, like, guys, I think something happened. Because I didn't even know how to explain what I was feeling. But I was really worried about my car. I remember thinking that. And then I stayed up because I kept hoping that I'd start to feel better, and I started to feel a little bit better and a little bit better. And finally, at around 4 o'clock, I decided I'm going to go get my car now because I just feel really tired now, but I don't feel loopy or whatever anymore. So I'm going to get my car now. Like my memory's there. Maybe this was all in my head.
At 4 a.m.
I was really worried about leaving my car down there. I was afraid it was going to get towed, and I didn't have money to go pick it up. I kept saying, like, do you guys think my car will be all right? Because I'd love to go to bed. I'm like, it should be. I just needed someone to say it will definitely be okay, and I couldn't. So I go back to get my car. When I go back to get my car, there are cops arresting people behind my car. They're literally leaning against my car. And so I'm just standing there like, and finally this cop was like, do you need to get out of here? I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm sorry, I left my car down here earlier. Which I'm thinking, you shouldn't have said that, because now it sounds like you're drunk. But I said, yeah, sorry. And he's like, oh, okay. And he's like, sorry, I'll get everyone moved. They've got people in cuffs and stuff, and they're spreading everyone out. He's backing me out of the spot. I was like, oh, I just should have left this thing. I get home, and I went straight to bed. But the next day, I started thinking about it, and I was like, oh, my God. What happened last night? Why was I so out of it? Why did it was bad enough that I left the bar. And, so you know our friend Neil. I actually had texted him because I had seen him, and I texted him and said, I really apologize for our conversation because I know that we had a conversation.
Right.
And I remember that during that conversation, I'd said things like, sorry, what were we talking about? And I remember his friend saying, like, wait, were you going to finish that? What were you saying? Because I just stopped, and I was like, oh, yeah. And so I just said, sorry, I think I got a little too stoned. I'm not going to say, like, I think someone drugged me. I said, sorry, I think a little stoned. And he said, oh, I didn't even notice. You were totally fine. It was good to see you. I'm like, okay. But obviously in my head, I thought something had happened. I think it is possible that someone put something in my Red Bull. I know it sounds crazy, Lazlo, but it must happen to somebody. They do.
I think it's possible that you smoked too much pot. Smoked more than you thought you should have.
But
I guarantee you that happens more often.
Pot.
Hey, I smoked a little bit more than I thought. I was going to have a big night tonight. I go out to, it's a Friday night. I don't usually go out. I'm going to see friends. People are going to stay over. That's what you're telling me. Yeah. You're going to have a good time, and then all of a sudden, you hit that thing once, twice, 3 times more than you thought you were going to.
That's true.
But I wasn't going to go to this thing at all. And the pot usually makes me more socially anxious, so I'll sometimes avoid that.
Maybe you smoked more than you thought.
I
guarantee you, I feel like there's more times where Snow Cone has people have one too many drinks than they thought they would, then somebody put something in theirs.
That wasn't what this was, I'm telling you.
I totally agree, but I hadn't smoked pot.
Hey, look, I'm not going to doubt you. It's fine. Just telling you, I have my doubts.
I've definitely had the memory thing from pot, but to black out
I didn't have any other word.
Pot?
I was thinking for another word for doubts. But
You don't black out from pot. Like the highest you've ever been, even when you had a major panic attack, you don't black out from it.
Yeah, like you can miss parts of an evening or forget what you're talking about. For sure. You just said it almost felt like I was way too stoned
forgetting what you just
and
said
my
part.
short-term memory had kicked off.
The forgetting what I just said part, but the next day not remembering everything that happened last night. I've never had that.
Did you
from
black out
pot.
or did you brown out?
I don't know, because all I know is the next day I thought, man, I really don't remember everything that happened
It seems
last
like you
night. I
browned
didn't
out.
drink any booze.
Because blackouts, like, man, I have no recollection. Like, when I woke up in my bed, it's like, I have no idea how I got
Right,
here.
no,
don't
I knew that. I remember going to get my car. Like, I remember sitting on the couch and saying, I think I'm going to go get my car. I know it's really late, but I'm really worried about my car getting towed. It could have already been towed. And then the more I thought about it, the more I was thinking about, oh my God, I forgot I saw this person. I forgot I saw this person.
Yeah,
we had a
that's
conversation.
browned out, yeah.
What was that about? Which reminds me of drinking, not of pot, you know? I don't know. And then it dawned on me, because it took a while, I thought, oh my God, I completely forgot about grabbing that drink that I left there for 45 minutes in the back of that bar that I'd forgotten about. Just saying it's possible. It is possible. I don't think someone saw me and thought I wanted to drug him.
It's more likely that you smoked more pot than you thought you did.
I don't think they saw me and thought, that's the guy.
Right.
They just take their chances, right, if they're drugging drinks.
Yeah.
So then I started wondering if the dizziness and everything is and that's why I didn't bring it up earlier, because part of my
you smoked too much pot
dizziness.
and you had too many shots of whiskey, and I'm pretty damn sure I've seen you be drunk and belligerent before, Snow Cone.
Yeah, but I'm telling you,
you
this
were
was different.
mad at me that night. I was texting that girl for you.
I don't remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm telling you, this was different. Like I've gotten belligerent drunk plenty of times. This was something completely different. There was no recollection. Maybe
1-2 more shots extra.
No, it was like 2 or 3 drinks, so that was the thing. I hadn't like drinking at all that night.
It's hard to remember how much you drink when you can't remember the evening.
No,
I tell you, I only had 3. No, but that doesn't count.
No, because I texted the bartenders, my friends, the next day, and they said I only had like 2 or 3. I don't think it was intentional.
I was hoping that maybe that's why I was dizzy the last couple of days. Because I don't know what they do to drug people's drinks. I don't know what the most common thing is. If they actually use roofies or if they use
Xanax or something,
sleeping pills or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
but and I don't know if they would even drink.
Is,
I thought maybe it's a left because I've been dizzy for the last couple of days, and I thought, what if this is some sort of leftover from whatever happened on Friday night?
Yeah,
or Saturday, whatever it was, Friday night. Lazlo says no. Lazlo says it's just pot.
You smoke too much pot.
Just pot.
You're
I think
an
I could go
addict.
home and smoke pot all night, and I that wouldn't happen.
Well, try it.
I have. Like, I've smoked a lot of pot before. I've never... Certainly
Go
not
home and take that same... I don't know what you're smoking out of. Were you vaping
It's
it,
a
or was that a
pen.
bowl?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's a pen.
Go home and hit that 10 times. 10 long hits and see what happens.
I'll be stoned for an hour.
Well, let's just see if
I do it all
it's
the time.
comparable.
The dizziness... You don't think the dizziness and everything? No, nothing?
No, I think you're just way too high.
I'm not trying to say that people want to drug me. Again, I can't emphasize
I'm
that
not
enough.
saying that they do. I'm not saying that you're trying to say that. I'm saying that sometimes it's easier when we get too high or drunk. It's easier for us to think, oh, something must have happened to me, as opposed to I did that to myself.
I would rather I did something to myself, for sure. Because I'm worried, because it was not a total blackout. There's just pieces that I'm like, what? Was I acting okay? And you normally with pot, you don't worry about that, you know. Other than like kind of being a stoner, you don't want to act like, hey, what's up, mom? Right. But if you're out at a bar or whatever, nobody cares. All right, well, so then never mind. I guess I just have a brain tumor. I really have been telling myself that that's why I have this...
You
what did
smoked
you call
too much
it?
pot, and you took one too many shots. Keep yourself in check. Quit blaming outside things for your alcoholism and drug abuse.
What do you call that? What did you call this earlier?
What?
What's the dizziness? What is it?
Vertigo.
Vertigo. Damn. If I didn't get drugged, I also did think they wouldn't drug someone's energy drink, would they?
That's the thing. Like,
wouldn't you drug someone's booze that's in a glass
because already drinking,
with
and
ice?
it's the signs of a drunk person. So just someone
Right.
drinking
Just
a
putting
Red
some
Bull,
in a Red Bull
and all of a
doesn't
sudden
seem
you're
right.
wasted. Yeah.
Yeah. I guess it could have been that stuff that tasted like meth. I forgot to tell you about that part. I'll tell you that part off the air. I'm kidding.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
Yo.
Yo.
How are you?
I'm all right.
What's wrong? Why are your eyes closed like that?
I've still got that vertigo thing, the dizziness.
Okay.
I don't know what it is. I'm not complaining. You asked. I just I'm a little scared. That's all. I wasn't going to bring it up. I had this thing from the Seattle.
I have the cure for you.
Seattle Times. What?
Rehab.
Well, okay.
Try that. It would be amazing how well it works for people.
We just saw something within the last 2 months about, because I remember you and I talking about it. Don't remember if we talked about it on the air, but it said that people who post selfies are actually seen as being a little more confident because they're confident enough to post the selfies, and that it's usually done by people who are better looking, people who don't like the way they look, don't want to post selfies.
Sure.
I thought all of that made sense.
Yeah.
Do you remember that, Snowcone? I don't remember if we talked about it on the air, but this thing in the Seattle Times is talking about this study that says just the opposite, that posting selfies makes you look like a loser.
What?
So researchers had these students look at 900 photos on social media, and they had to rate the people who posted them without knowing anything about who these people were.
Okay.
Just based on this picture. And the people who posted a lot of selfies were the people who were rated as being lonelier, less confident, less dependable, less successful, and less likable overall.
Wow.
The researchers also may have coined a new term called posies, as in photos you pose for instead of photos you take for yourself. I kind of like that. We didn't have a name for hold this, take the. That's a posy. So posies if someone holds a camera for you and you actually get a chance to pose. Selfies if you take it yourself. In the study, people who posted a lot of posies were consistently seen as more confident and more likable than people who posted selfies. I got to go with the first thing that we read about this because I don't like selfies because I don't like the way I look. And I feel like if someone takes a picture of me a little further away from the camera, there's a chance, like the closer the camera is, the worse it's going to be for me.
Sure.
So I like the camera to be a little further away, preferably a light source right behind my head, you know? And the people I see who do post a lot of selfies are good-looking men, good-looking women, good-looking people.
But there are certainly people that you see that post selfies and you think you shouldn't post as many selfies as you do, right?
Maybe. I don't look at them ever though. No, actually, no.
There's
I
a
do
few
see
I have
some
in my
people.
head, like where it's people I went to high school with or whatever it is, and I see them now, and it's like, this you've got to stop. This isn't a good look.
No, I don't think that. I think lonely. I do agree with that part. I may think like this person posts a lot of pictures by themselves.
But it also
What if
depends
they
on the
post
setting.
pictures with other people, though?
Then not so much. But if it's a lot of pictures around the house by themselves, going out by themselves, eating lunch, then I just think, well, yeah, that's because the person's alone all the time. And I think they might be lonely.
I don't read that much into it. Maybe I'm weird. I really don't. Like I don't think like I scroll through and be like, oh, that person's lonely. Oh, that person shouldn't do that. Oh, I don't think too much about it. I do look at the background.
Okay, so you know what?
I'm a background judger.
See, that's the thing, though. If you're on a beach and taking a selfie, you're in a swimsuit and you look good, that may exude confidence and you're a good-looking person. But if you're in a messy room, you know that selfie is when I'm like, all right, you need to take it easy.
The background. I look at the background more.
If I were to think about it, Lazlo's looking for white appliances and laundry on the floor.
You got dirty socks on the floor.
Okay, I'm going to show you the person I'm thinking of. We'll just go through, and don't say the person's name, but I'm going to show you and to see what you think, all right?
Hartzell? Why do you put Hartzell up here?
That's not what I went with. Stop.
I think I look at everyone else and always think they're doing better than me, like at everything. They just.
I really don't.
I don't ever think like you
that.
shouldn't do this, right? Maybe if you
I really
asked me to
don't.
think about it, I might think maybe I should take more pictures and shouldn't be so self-conscious. I don't think I ever think they're a loser.
Oh, it's a cute picture.
Right, okay, yeah. But there's...
But I do now. Let me see, Snowcone. Now that you mention it, Snowcone, there was someone that we all.
That's okay, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's that one.
Okay.
Take it to like that.
Yeah. To me, this person looks like they're single and they're looking to date.
That.
Don't you think people who are single are looking for someone post different types of pictures?
Thirsty look. That, I mean, it's constant mirror pics. That to me seems like a little desperate.
I get what you mean. To me, it looks like someone who's on the market, who's like, "Hey, what do you think?"
But they're trying a little hard.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it's someone
like
else are kind of attractive.
Yeah, I mean, I do too.
Good for them.
Sometimes. But we did just talk last week about someone that we follow. We won't say their name. It wasn't Lazlo, but Snowcone. You follow them. I follow them. I guess I'm kind of related to them. And the three of us had all said something about, This person, instead of taking selfies, this person posts a lot of pictures where they clearly set their phone to a timer and show themselves doing things with the timer going. And then it made me think of a lot of people that we know who set the timers and
It's a lot of like hiking in the woods. And
right,
stuff.
they go.
I don't
People
really know how to do that.
It's
in
on
your
the camera.
photos. When you go to photos,
clock.
it's
There's a little clock
there's a
icon
little
on
clock,
the top.
and you just click on that, and then you can change the clock to different times.
I had no idea. I've only thought, what is this person doing? What is wrong with them once? And that was you on the couch with your pants down with singing Miley Cyrus. Lip singing.
Oh, that's
Miley.
right.
My pants
What was
weren't
that
down.
about?
Yeah,
I was
hands
fully
were
dressed.
around him or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I was
was
fully clothed.
Not. Well, I guess you were real slouched into the couch.
Yeah, I was trying to hide my
shirt was
double
pulled
chin.
up, I was like, okay.
So I could fit in the frame.
That's the only time I ever thought, what?
I look at my own
What
stuff.
the hell?
But I don't look at. I'll look at my own stuff and go, "Ooh, does that work?" Which everybody does that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that. When we saw that article a couple months ago about selfies, Hartzell had just been in here taking a selfie, and we said like, I don't think about when I see Hartzell posting those pictures. I think he looks more confident because he's better looking. Like I feel like if I was better looking and he's having fun,
Like I don't put like what is their mental well-being based upon their Instagram? I don't have those thoughts. But
No.
Again, I'm Gen X. Maybe this is all new to me, and you guys are millennials. And then Gen Z. Maybe they even think about it more. As a Gen X guy, I'm like, they're just trying to share their life through social media. I don't think it means they're happy, sad, depressed, anxious. Whatever the case may be. I don't put much weight into it one way or the other. I figure they're taking some of their finer moments in life, be it that day or whatever, and trying to tell a story through social media that, hey, everything's going to be okay. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, I agree with you.
I don't think they come home and be like, here's my husband. He's drunk and outraged and throwing a right hand at me.
I don't think most people
click.
do.
Like, I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're taking their worst moments either.
I just think
But selfies are so ubiquitous that you would agree that there are people that do it that could easily say, like, they're looking for validation. They need something here.
I don't think about
I really don't think about
Once
it.
a
Even those pictures that
psychiatrist
you
says
sent
it,
me
I
of
go,
that girl,
sure.
I don't think, but I would, how many times, maybe I follow too many people, because how many times would I actually see her picture?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go to her page and scroll through all of them.
Sure.
I think it when
one
someone
after
brings
another,
it up.
so.
If you bring it up, but when I'm just scrolling through looking, I don't think, oh, this person takes too many selfies. They must be. But if I think anything, it's the opposite of this article in the Seattle Times. Because this, again, was saying today that too many selfies make you look like a loser. I think just the opposite. I think more selfies means that you're more confident. I think. And I know that you could say that, no, they're actually looking for validation. But, of course, beautiful people
I'd
still
say
look
the
for
opposite.
validation.
I'd say the opposite.
If you're willing to take more selfies and you feel comfortable posting those, I don't feel comfortable posting that many.
Yeah, me either.
Because I don't like the way I look, and neither do you. So doesn't that imply
but maybe
that
we also we don't crave the validation that some people do.
Oh, I definitely would like
maybe you
validation.
crave the validation.
I
don't
crave
think
it.
you're going to get it.
But maybe different
that way.
ways.
Yeah, I think I might get just the opposite. I might get hurt even more by posting that.
Yeah.
So why not just
But I think
ignore it?
I think you look good.
Thanks.
I think you're attractive.
Take a selfie.
Yeah, take a selfie, post it.
Okay.
Don't sing Miley Cyrus, though, look like you're so stoned out of
And
your head, you
everyone
can't get
listening
your
to this,
ass
go
off
on
the couch.
Slim's Instagram and say something nice.
No,
I will.
no. I don't need. How's that?
Perfect.
Yeah, you gotta reach the hand up, get that angle right.
What about the face?
The face,
started talking.
I'm getting tired of the guys with the mouths open, like
Okay, how about-
they're shocked.
How about this? Do I just smile?
Yeah,
I don't know how to
smile.
fake smile.
Well, okay, that's a little much.
How's that? I'm fake laughing. Look at that.
I
Too
love
much
it.
open
No,
mouth?
that's okay.
That's perfect.
Okay. Cool.
Now
Got
throw a
it.
filter on that bitch and post
No
it.
filter? No filter.
No.
Isn't that validation
Filter.
won't mean anything? No,
No, you do filter, but you tone it down so it's not as aggressive.
All right,
That's
well
the
then
trick.
you come set up the filter and we'll send
All
it
right.
out. Lazlo, you going to
Just
take
send
one?
it out.
All right, fine, I sent it.
The Church of Lazlo on 96.5 The Buzz.
Great.
Yo,
Your
all right.
selfie looked great.
Thanks. You got a big night tonight?
I got some football practice tonight.
Football. That's right. It's already Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
You're the coach?
I'm one of the coaches.
One of the coaches.
I
Cool.
enjoy it.
Flag football?
It is.
Cool.
When do they start tackle?
They can start now, I think.
And will you let your sons do tackle? Have you made that decision yet?
Yeah, probably.
You haven't really thought about it though.
He's asked.
Yeah.
I think he might be a little young in third grade, but yeah. I mean, I think at some point, 7th grade, 8th grade, Ninth grade.
Is there a position you want to let him play? Maybe one that's more prone to getting hit?
No.
Huh?
Do you cuss? That's what I care about. What age do you start cussing in front of the kids as a coach?
I got to be a little bit older. Plus, I'm not the head coach. So I kind of got to, go by what this other guy does. So I try not to. Although if there's somebody who's going to cuss, it's probably me. But, like, I'm the head coach of basketball. I'll let a good S fly every once in a while.
Yeah.
Getting cussed at by your coach, like in PE or something, that's when I felt like an adult.
And I try not to cuss at them, but I'll say, hey. Like, one time we were getting beat, and the kids were, like, trying to call timeout or whatever. And so finally I called timeout, and they were still I was like, man. So I called them over. I said, guys, we're down by 15 points with, like, 2 minutes left. Sometimes you just got to take that ass whooping and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's life.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you got to look around and say, well,
oops,
I just got my ass beat.
Yeah.
Let me move on with life.
Yeah.
I want you all to look at it like that and let the rest of this game go.
Yeah.
I would do that. That's, about where I would go. I wouldn't be like, hey, you.
Right.
Lazy piece of ass?
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
There is something about that when an authority figure adult says a curse word that's not directed at you, it's just in general, that you feel like you're on their level.
Yeah.
Like you're now an adult.
Right.
You're grown up.
You're grown up.
Right.
You feel tough.
Right. Yeah.
This person's cussing in front of me.
Right. Maybe your dad doesn't say those words in front of you, but I ain't your dad.
That's right.
I'm going to start to treat you like men.
That's right.
Yeah. Take that ass whooping and move on. Because those kids beat us by 15 points. You ain't very good at this sport.
Yeah.
Well, have fun tonight.
I will.
Love you guys. See ya.
The Church of Lazlo. 96.5 The Buzz.